Hi all, welcome back to Tarawa. This is part 7. Not sure how far I'm going to get tonight. I've had a long day and I've been swirling about pressing record or not, and then I also thought about going across the carrier battle again, which I've been watching back some of the footage of that and thinking, yeah, I can start seeing where I'm been missing some things and wrong thinking about the game. So I was going to go there at first, and then I thought, no. Wanted to talk about Martin's thoughts when I asked for if anybody has any thoughts. He made a comment, and let's say I might not be quite in the frame of mind to have much recording here, but we'll get it started and talk about a couple of things anyway. Is that where that guy was? Yeah, it was, because he took that position out. Yeah. And it was me, I suppose, faffing about with this. How am I meant to look at things right to left, colours on the card, left to right, symbols on the card, and yeah, his thoughts were trying not, I wouldn't make things complicated. Like I've got probably a habit of doing that, making them complicated. But I was about to maybe sort of debate the case a little with him, because he was saying that it doesn't matter until you kick in with the lettered actions, about what gets done first. And that does say that you should go from right to left, from west to east, which is right to left. And just in case, and you can see things. I mean, if I'm not right, I remember in Omaha that you could have some actions that you realised that when you done the action, if another action was to occur, it might interfere with that, and you were able to deal with that. It's not really that you need to like mark things and think, right, oh, I can't do that first because this might happen or whatever. It's not quite that complex, really. But anyway, I was also going to sort of debate the fact, because I felt like at first that this situation in these two hexes mattered how I done it colour wise. But however, Martin reminded me, and as I should well know, that intense fire always comes before steady fire. So, but I still thought, because what we had in this situation, I know it's changed now, but we had a Japanese unit here in this brown position that fired intense fire into here and intense fire into here. And we had this in this blue position that fired intense fire into here and steady fire into here. And I was saying, well, if we fire this first, he has to fire his intense fire first. So he hits this, and this was a stronger unit, I want to say, wasn't it? Was it not a 4-stepper or something like that? So he would hit that. And then if we'd done brown next, well, brown couldn't then fire into there with its intense, and it would fire into here. And because this was intense fire and not the steady, it targeted the one with the most steps. Whereas if we'd done it the other way about, and I'd done brown firing first, his intense fire would hit the unit with the most steps, then blue wouldn't be able to use his intense fire. And I think this is where I'm getting a problem. This is where I'm making a mistake. I might be wrong, and it might be, I've asked Martin to kind of confirm what my thinking is here. So if we allow brown to fire first, and because he's got 2 targets, this is the one that, actually no, it doesn't matter about them being as close, does it? It means they're both in intense fire. This one's got the most steps, so he hits that. However, then blue's wanting to fire, but blue can't use his intense fire anymore because that was in here. So what I'm thinking we have to do is rewind that and say, right, brown cannot fire first because blue wants to use his intense fire. He uses intense fire to fire in there, and brown can still use his intense fire to fire in there. So I think that makes it work no matter how you do it, because like I say, if I was doing brown first, I would need to sort of rewind things a little and say, well, wait just now, because blue can only intense fire into here, whereas brown can intense fire into both, so we allow blue to intense fire into there and brown to intense fire into there. Right, you better just leave it at that, Grant, because you're starting to sound like a wally. Yeah, so I'm thinking that's an explanation, because I was going to start debating, like I say, and say, well, there is a difference there. But if that's what he's, not his argument, but if that's what he's saying, and I think he could be right, because you have to fire with intents first. So that steady fire that was involved in there shouldn't really be involved until the intense stuff is dealt with. I think that's what we're talking about. But I do take on board, you know what, he's right. And he also says, look, I would also like find the position, you know, let's say we've got along here, we've got 3 colours on the card, let's look at all 3 colours and find it. Let's not say, well, yellow's the 3rd colour, but we know it's going to get, he's sitting in yellow, but you know what I mean, the 3rd colour along, let's not just cycle along here all the way back, to then go back to there, to then go back again, and then come back to eventually hit that unit, when we can do it. And I get the feeling I didn't do that in Omaha. I done what he's saying. What he's saying is look at a position now and say, right, what is that in? That's in yellow. Is yellow on that card? Is it going to fire at that unit? No, right, move on. By all means, go from right to left, but let's not have to go like that and make you all seasick. I think that's right. I think I'm not so sure it was as worded in Omaha about you go from right to left and you go on the card from left to right colour wise. I don't think it maybe said that in Omaha, and that's because it's saying that in this game that I'm feeling like I'm having to go by that structure. But it is a bit long-winded and probably not required, really, isn't it? So what we'll do is we'll change it up for the next fire phase, and we'll have a look at doing it that way, and we'll see how we get on. And I'm sure once lettered actions kick in, I will see the problem. I will see things happening, and I always take note. I mean, if this guy takes a hit, I do that. What I'm actually going to start doing now is, and what I should have been doing for the start myself as well, and I'm going to start doing it now, is not only that, let's say that this was the position that was firing on this guy. I'm going to say, right, he's took a hit, he's disrupted, marker may have disrupted marker, and it was this unit that took the hit. So that now I know he's fired on that, this has been fired on, it's been hit. I kind of know. It's maybe a bit, it's maybe not quite required, but it might be that I don't need that because I haven't been doing it. Maybe I won't do that. I just think there could be some positions where, you know, let's just say he could fire at something here and something there, and we've fired at that there, and then we look at that, and maybe I've had a wee break and I've came back and I've thought, well, this isn't fired yet. Whereas if it was like that, I would know it had fired, and then I would say, oh yeah, it fired on that, you know. We'll see. I might not do that because that might be more work than needed as well. Right, okay. Let's see if I can squeeze a part in now that I've got started then, because I was sitting there wondering about pressing record, and I don't have loads of time either, so, but I could probably squeeze a part in if I got started and maybe get a turn in. We're on turn 4, there's no more extra units to bring out to land. We've got the 3 tanks. We had the event last time that said we couldn't use the LVTs. Now all the videos I've got are out there now. Part 6 are released as well, because I watched loads of stuff over the last couple of days while I was travelling for miles, like 5-6 hour journey there, 6 hour journey back or something like that. So I've had plenty of time to watch over some video footage. Yeah, but I'm still pretty comfortable in the fact we can't use LVTs. They don't use LVTs anyway, so let's not worry about it. Okay, so land and check. Now these go, the tanks just go. No, we must still check for drift though, Grant. Yeah. Assign LVT to a non-tank unit in a beach approach hex. Well, we don't. These are all tanks, and also we can't assign LVTs this turn because of that event. Landing check, LVT and tank, it says here. So we draw 2 cards for each LVT stack and tank unit from map right to left. and we determine the drift first. It's just that the tanks will be able to ignore certain things, but no, I think tanks will still drift. And then when we check for the actual card, though, I've said it's the LVT that we look at regarding the state of the tank, as in stepwise. If the LVT has two little dots beside it on the card, then the tank's good. If it's got one dot beside it, the tank loses a step. If it's got an X beside it, the tank's destroyed. I thought there was some tank treat as beach result as reef. If we get a reef result, a tank treats it as a beach result. A water result, a tank treats it as a beach result. I think that's only 2. So I'll double check that as we go. Right, so this guy here, we're checking for drift. So we're going to draw a card and see if there's any drift. Well, pivot right, but that only applies to R2. So he cannot pivot. So he just, that's a no drift. So now we're looking at the L section here and where it's going to land. Okay, good. Right, 2 steps, so it means it's not hurt and it's going into the beach. So it's going to stagger along there. So left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left. Right, I lost my cell there. I think I was right there, wasn't I? I think it's that one. Left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right, left, right. No, I didn't. Ah, well, yeah, I went there, but it should be left, right. So it is still that X. So he's in there. And that's he's sitting in a yellow field of fire. Because I was saying that the tanks need to be sitting in the field of fire, but to barrage, I mean, I'm pretty sure that probably will be the rule, but I've not looked it up yet, to be honest. However, I mean, these do have a good range, don't they? I mean, that's a range of 7. Although you need somebody adjacent to be able to do it. And I want to say they need a headquarters to maybe aid them with the fire, maybe. And there's no headquarters across this side, is there? They're both in the middle here. Right, anyway. That's first one landed safely, right? Let's have 2 more like that. So, checking for drift for this guy. No drift. Right. And what has the L got for us? So takes a step loss but hits the beach, okay? So he flips to his reduced side. Still got the range of 7, but he's lost 2 of his strength. And then straight on to the beach, right there. So he's sitting in blue field of fire. So, and that's blue, so maybe we might get something from that. Plus the fact he's got the headquarters beside him as well. So, although there's not an infantry unit adjacent to that, that's just the headquarters. This was risky, by the way. I remember watching back on this and saying, well, it's an intense blue, yes, but if blue was to come up with a star on it, then, mind you, it does hit. That's the last choice, isn't it? I want to say that's the last choice. So, although that's armor, yeah. See, if we had a blue circle, I think it would hit this before it hit that. Again, I'd have to check that. And see, that's sitting in blue as well. So, maybe not. Maybe it wasn't so bad an idea then. But it's still slightly risky. Putting it there, I think. Right, and here, last one. For drift, we get 1 right on the drift, so he's going that way, which is fine. Well, it's the next one that's more important, isn't it? So on the L, come on. So another hit, not destroyed though, Grant, not destroyed. So, and the result was water there, but. It does say water you treat as a beach result for a tank. Okay, so it does go straight in. And it's not an option. It doesn't stay there. It goes right in. So he's sitting in blue and brown. Well, that's the blue. That brown is along there. So potential to maybe barrage that, actually, because he is beside that headquarters. Just would have liked to have kept on full strength. But yeah, I'm cringing at the results, but I watched back on part 6 there and I was like, wow. And I was saying to myself, oh yeah, it wasn't completely successful. The 3 close combats we got, I mean, how lucky was all that? It really was. In particular, 2 out of the 3 of them looked like we were getting slaughtered and we ended up winning comfortably. Well, I say comfortably, we ended up winning, but we looked like we were getting slaughtered. It was pretty amazing, like. So I should really count myself lucky for all that stuff. I'm sure there's some of you that would agree with that anyway. Okay, so that's us landed the 3 tanks. We're now going to have to weigh the shore. We only have this guy, I think. Yes, indeed. He's not really got anywhere special to go, so he's just going to move into like that. I don't need to mark him or anything like that. And then place new units. Well, there isn't any. And we're not getting any. Well, this is turn 4. So yeah, that's right. So there's nothing for turn 5, but once we move into turn 5, then that's when the main part of our force comes in on turn 6. And we've got to also keep an eye on, you know, it's turn. What was it? I forgot actually. It's 11. When we need to have the certain amount of victory points. So I think it's 11, isn't it? But you need to just double check that one as well, Grant. I did think that was wrong. No, it's turn 15, isn't it? Come on. Upon completing turn 15 in the 2 days in the hell scenario, determine which Japanese positions you have secured. You win the scenario decisively. Well, I'm not interested in that one. You lose the scenario decisively if you have secured less than 12 position hexes. And then if you do not win or lose at that stage, the scenario continues on to turn 30. So it's upon completing turn 15. So it's actually after turn 15. Maybe there's something on the track actually. It says, well, that's when November the 20th scenario ends. But that's the 2 days in hell check though. Yeah. Okay. And turn 11 is when extended turns begin. And that's when the game changes up a bit. But our victory point check isn't until the end of turn 15. Okay. I just quickly, another comment that Martin had made, and which led me to look at this again, because yeah, I did genuinely think there was something. Why I never noticed it when reading through it. But anyway, no, it's not on that page anyway, Grant. This is the one that I'd pointed out, wasn't it? 14.2, and it's a correction, and it says the second requirement for securing a position should read, all position hexes projecting intense fire and the hex are also occupied by US units of garrison. Whereas in the rulebook, it wasn't intense fire, it was any kind of fire, you know, tense or steady, which is kind of huge point. However, there's the other 2 points down there, I think, and this is what Martin had said, that they were in the errata, that the changes they made, they had made the changes, certain changes to Pellow as well. But it's these 2 points here, and I don't know how I didn't see these. 18.1 is a correction, and it says at least one position must project a printed field of fire on the southern beach to meet the victory conditions, not 2. So they've reduced that from 2 to 1 to make it easier. And this other one as well, first bullet correction, you win the scenario if you have secured all positions in 3 island zones, one of which must be zone A or F, plus at least 8 positions in other zones. And let me just, 18.2, isn't it? 18.2 first bullet correction. So you win the scenario if you've secured all the positions in 4 of the island zones and at least 1 position in each of the other 2 zones. So all of the positions compared to Oh, sorry, it's all the... I should have put them side by side maybe, rather than put one on top of the other. It's, what is the difference there? You've secured all the positions in 4 of the island zones. This one says, this one's been corrected to say, you win the scenario if you've secured all the positions in 3 island zones, so that's reduced by 1, and at least 1 position in each of the other 2 zones. So they've changed that a little bit, one of which must be zone A or F, plus at least 8 positions in other zones. Okay, so they've kind of changed that one quite a bit on there. Okay, well, I'll study them a bit more as we go on through the game. But yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what he was pointing at there. And I'd only picked up on this correction here, which is a change, and a big change. But you can see that these are the actual victory condition changes, really, aren't they? Even though that's obviously making things easier from what it was originally written as, anyway. Right, come on, Grant. Let's see if we can move through a turn. You're a bit slow. No, never. Right, we're on to an event, aren't we? Yeah, landed. Nothing more to bring out. Right, so events have been good to us. Nothing brilliant, but there've been 2 good ones, not bad ones, shall we say? So right, well, let's see. We're on turn 4. Let's go. Spoke too soon. Right, add a depth marker to 1 Japanese unit, 9.2. Okay. Right, so closest to the US unit, if 2 or more in a position in or adjacent to a beachheads before choosing an inland, and then if there's more than one of them, you go lowest ID number, and then it'll be lowest letter. Yeah. So it's ID number, ID letter. But so closest to US unit. Well, there's nothing adjacent there, so we probably want... Right, here's a hero. Is he a unit? Is he a unit? Things that I've always got to look up. And look, he's the only thing that's adjacent. Oops. What happened there? I don't know. So he is the only one that's adjacent. I want to say he is classed as a unit, but I also want to see it written somewhere. Well, I think the definition of heroes and headquarters sorts it out for me on page 20, rule 10. Key US individuals and command formations are represented by hero markers and HQ units. So will we just go with that? I think we should. Well, I mean, that's it. It's an HQ unit, Grant. Is that not all you need? Surely. Yeah, I was going to just look BGG and just for a bit more, but I mean, surely that's enough to tell you. And it just said choose the Japanese unit closest in hexes to a US unit. And we've already said this is an HQ unit. So yeah, so it's a unit. Let's just leave it at that. One of the things I should maybe also take note of, the fact that these are a hero as well as an HQ. So my guess is they can give out wild cards and possibly add the 1 strength that a hero would do as well. Headquarter heroes. Each HQ has 2 sides, one with a hero symbol and one without. HQ's interplay on their hero side representing the inspiring leadership of the officer named on the counter. An HQ on its hero side acts as both an HQ and a hero, conferring the benefits of a hero to any unit with which it is stacked. Yeah, okay, so I should have realised that. If the HQ is hit, flip the HQ to its non-hero side to show that the officer has been incapacitated. HQ on its non-hero side has all the capabilities of an HQ, but none of a hero. An HQ hero may not be sacrificed. You cannot move an HQ unit in an enemy occupied hex. If a Japanese unit enters a hex occupied by a US unit, the HQ is considered a one-step unit for purposes of drawing cards and elimination and ensuing close combat. Okay, so yeah, so stacking these is probably a good idea too. I don't think we've had the real option to do anything with them yet, to be honest, but anyway. So this is a unit, and that's the closest one to that, so he's going to get the depth. He's a coastal position, so we're going to get him a coastal depth marker. That one right there. And pop that underneath. Which isn't good, actually, because that's going to fire twice blue. And we're not... Well, like I say, the only thing I might be able to do is try and barrage it with this. That's possible. I need to go and look the rules up for that, but we've not got a unit. Well, I know this is adjacent to it, but we need an infantry unit adjacent. An infantry or an engineer adjacent to it to be able to carry out an attack as such. And of course, he's going to have to fire first in the Japanese fire phase, so... we're just about to find that out, so if blue pops up, it might not be good. Anyway, right, so, well, let's move on. Japanese fire. It was just one depth marker, wasn't it? Add a depth marker to one Japanese unit. Yes. Right, moving on to the dreaded Japanese fire phase. Well, we need to know that the A action is available. Not another one. I think it's next turn. We'll get another letter. So, well, I'm going to be looking to see if blue's on the card just by that, but if it's not, there'll be other things horrible that'll happen. Right, so here we go, Japanese fire card. Well, blue is not there. We do have a double in the purple, so I don't think we've had much happening with purple. Well, we've not, because that tank's still disrupted, so I think that's the first time we've had purple. So the fact that it's double, we might not see nothing from that, although that tank's going to now undisrupt. Anyway, let's go to the A as well. But it's a double. I want to say the lettered actions consider the state of that as well, though. I would think the fact that it needs to be depth before it can do something with the A action, I would hope. Let's just check that one. Right, I've not quite fully read this yet, and I started thinking that maybe they didn't care about it being double, but this is the section that talks about if it's single, it needs, well, it can be occupied by at least one non-disrupted unit, with or without a depth marker, and if it's got the double position or position group occupied by a non-disrupted unit with a depth marker or two non-disrupted units. Fired. Yeah, you've got to remember that one as well, Grant, actually, because if it's a position group and there's a unit in each position, then that counts for the double. Anyway, so I couldn't find out about the lettered actions, and I started thinking that was maybe not going to apply to them, and then I came across this, although I didn't fully read it. As explained in 6.3, a single colour symbol on the fire card indicates that position of that colour. Perform an action if occupied by a Japanese unit with or without a depth marker. A double colour symbol indicates that position of that colour. Perform an action only if occupied by a unit and a depth marker or two units. Okay, so that is the same then, because that's just talking about Japanese lettered actions. So it is the same, apart from the exception resupply. Which is just there, so... Occupied position when US units field of fire. One or more Japanese units in the position have no depth marker, draw and place a depth marker for each such unit. Yuck. So if it's got the of course if it's got the double, so that one's going to be an exception to that. So if we have a double requirement and it's an R, then you can look at a single occupied position and still carry out that resupply and add a depth marker. think that's what that's saying there, isn't it? Okay, so it seems to me that yeah, it's just repeating what it just reminds you about 6.3 and saying that a single. So if any of these A actions, it has to be from a double position. And the only one is if it's an R action and you're going to check the resupply action. So resupply is going to check an occupied position with US units in its field of fire. If one or more Japanese units in the position have no depth marker, draw and place a depth marker for each such unit. Yuck. Face down. So that means that if you've got a position group with just one Japanese unit, it's still going to get depth. And if you had one with two Japanese units, they would both get depth, I think. Okay. Right, let's try and move on and get through this part. I've also noticed there's no artillery again, so we're getting lucky up to now with that. Right, and let's try and do what Martin's saying, and he's got a fair point, really, because it's a bit of messing about. So, although we're doing red, double purple, and brown that can hit armour, by the way. We do have some tanks out there now. That's a circle. I was just looking down. That's in the brown position. It's not a circle, though. Okay, so yeah, so let's just check the units then. So this guy here, I mean, let's just check all our units from right to left, right? He's in yellow. Is anything there going to affect him? No, he's in yellow. So I don't need to come back to these guys. And if I keep going, then I won't need to come back again. This is in blue, steady blue. Blue's not on the card. This is in yellow. This is in yellow and brown. Okay, so brown is on the card. However, brown is coming from there, which is ours. So that's fine. Well, what's actually, if A was unoccupied, is that a no action? Yeah. Well, no, it's not. You've got ambush. So ambush would trigger as well, Grant. Doesn't matter that that's a double, because ambush says... No, hang on, Grant. One US unit with target symbol. No, but that's unoccupied. So if it's unoccupied, it's clearly not got two things in it. Why did it go and tell me about 6.3 there then? Why does it not remind me that ambush would have an effect? And what I mean by that, ambush is one US unit with target symbol and positions field of fire's hat. So no. If there's an empty purple position there, right? Which I'm not really seeing any. Well, there's one up there, right? This is an empty. Oh, actually, that's occupied as well. Right, there's one there. So if we had a US unit in here right now, right, then I think this position would ambush us. And it's irrelevant if it's got one square or two squares, like as in the double square. That's irrelevant because we're looking at an unoccupied position. Actually, it's unoccupied, it's got to be within 2 hexes. But, yeah, all this fire can only go out 2 hexes. Apart from when it's firing in the water and the likes. It's on land, it only goes out 2 hexes anyway. So, yeah, so I'll need to keep an eye on that, won't I? But the other actions, artillery fire. So, artillery fire would have to be, if we're talking about a double, it would have to be a position that had 2 units or a unit and depth marker, and that would have to be the same. That's making me wonder though, the fact that like ambush, why did I not say that ambush was an exception. A double colour symbol indicates that positions of that colour perform an action only if occupied by a unit and a depth marker or 2 units. Well, I know, I mean, ambush is an unoccupied position, so... But then, so is this. So, if we had an unoccupied position, we had the R and it was a double symbol, then that would trigger as well, wouldn't it? So, yeah, you'll need to watch that then. Hang on. Yeah, I mean, I can't even go looking for things in the rules for that, because it doesn't matter if it's a single colour or a double colour, these are all only going to apply if the section's unoccupied. So it can't be a unit and depth marker, it can't be a unit, can't be anything, because it's got to be unoccupied. Okay. Oops. Right, yeah, this is what I was saying about pressing record tonight. I don't think I should have done. Okay, let's keep moving on. So we got up to here, and this was brown, but this is a brown position, right? What is this? This is getting hit by yellow. Yeah, just yellow. So that's the yellow position. We've not got yellow though. This is getting hit by green. We've not got green, right? So we can ignore all of that. Just keep an eye out for unoccupied positions with the letter symbols that you've got in play right now. So an A, so unoccupied purple position. There's one there, but something needs to be within 2 of it for it to consider it, right? So we're moving right along. Now, hang on then. We've came to this tank, which is relevant, isn't it? So he's in brown. He's got the armour symbol, but he's not got any US units in his field of fire, so I think he's going to try and move. Yeah, armour unit, C13.2. I'll look at the chart, but I'd like to see it in the rule book. So, yeah, he'll fire if there's any units that are in the tank's units fields of fire. Remember, they extend another 1, so 1, 2, he can fire down to here. But you can see there's nothing within 3 of him. So he can't fire. So advance if no units are in the tank's field of fire. So I'm going to move the tank and depth marker, if any, to an unoccupied or Japanese occupied position hex, no more than 4 hexes away and closer to the nearest US unit. Now, this has always been a tough one. I remember this one. This is the one I think I had that question that Martin went and asked John. Right, so move the tank unit and depth marker to an unoccupied or Japanese occupied position hex, no more than 4 hexes away and closer to the nearest US unit. So where could he go then? Right now, where's his nearest US unit? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 to there. 6 to there. So he's 6 away. That's his nearest. It says unoccupied or Japanese occupied, but I want to say that the priority is probably unoccupied. But hang on. And it's going to move no more than 4 hexes away. So see, this would get 1, 2, 3 closer to this. This would get 1, 2, 3, 4 away, and it's within 4. This one's not within 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So this is not. So that's his 2 empty possibilities, empty positions. But he doesn't just need to consider that. He can switch places with another unit. If 2 or more eligible positions are equidistant from a US unit, move to an unoccupied position, then the position closest to the tank unit's current position. I had a feeling this was going to like burn me out, this one. Oh, that's annoying. I don't think I'm going to get through this turn now. Because this is within 3. This would get him within 3 of that. And it could switch positions. But I'm not sure if the priority is he's wanting an empty position first. Because I'm just struggling to read it, I think. Hold on. Move the tank unit depth marker to an unoccupied or Japanese occupied position. Heck, no more. Right, so it doesn't differentiate between them then. If 2 or more eligible positions are equidistant, move to an unoccupied position, then the position closest to the tank unit's current position, then to the highest number position. That's just breaking down priorities, isn't it? I actually think he wants to go to here. Because here and here, like I said, are 4 away. This is 3 away. Hang on though. This would be 1, 2, 3 away from them as well. So you've got this or this is going to get them closer, isn't it? It's really quite wordy, that, to be honest. It really is. Just trying to get your head around that is quite tough, I think. Might just be me. So advance if no US units are in a tank's field of fire. Right, we're going to do that because no US units are in a tank's field of fire. Move the tank unit and depth marker, if any, he does have one, to an unoccupied or Japanese occupied position hex, no more than 4 hexes away and closer to the nearest US unit. So it's wanting to look at the nearest US unit to start with, but it's got 3 possible targets here. So moving on, if 2 or more eligible positions are equidistant from a US unit, if 2 or more eligible, I think this is maybe a bit, one of the bits I was getting hung up on. That's, I don't know, I struggle to read that. If 2 or more eligible positions are equidistant from a US unit, move to an unoccupied position. So I think what it's saying is that's a priority, is one unoccupied. Then the next priority is the position closest to a tank unit's current position. Then the next priority is then to the highest number position. So I wish they'd kind of set that out as priorities, but I think that's what that's suggesting there. A tank unit will move to a Japanese occupied position only if the unit in that position can trace Japanese communication. Right, that's not a problem, I don't think. If the tank moves to a Japanese occupied position, the 2 units swap positions, place the other unit and its depth marker in the position from which the tank unit advanced. Is this that bit in the middle? And I think this is maybe the question that I'd asked Martin. I'm going to have to look more into this. I'm going to have to leave this. Well, that was a bit of a bummer. We never got very far. Yeah, I'm going to have to look into that one again and study it and work it out. And maybe some of you can read that okay, and it's maybe just me. Although I did have a bit of, I remember Martin not being too sure about certain parts of that as well. And I mean, I think that's maybe why I went and got John's clarification on it. But I need to hunt down that question that I'd asked them, and maybe look into some of the forums regarding tank advance, really. It's just, to me, it's not written that great, that part, because it's quite, it feels to me quite wordy and quite complex, but that might just be me. What I'm going to do with this? You know what, I think I'm just going to cut this as a part. It's not a very nice part though, is it? Not really done an awful lot. Because I could just pause there and come back tomorrow finish it off. I think I'll just put it together as a part. It's something for me to watch back and as well, because I'm up to date with D-Day at Omaha. Sorry, D-Day at Tarawa. I'm not up to date with my videos on the other game I'm playing, Carrier Battle, but I'm up to date with this. So I want to kind of stay on top of this as well. I'm more concerned about making mistakes here and try to get them fixed to me, like try to fix them if I can, rather than let things move on. So yeah, I think I will stop there. So basically we're still resolving the Japanese fire phase. I mean, okay, I know up to here we're alright, but you know, none of these units are getting... Oh, that's actually maybe not true. He's in yellow, brown and green. You know what? He's a circle. Yeah, forgetting about the guys in the water again. And that's that brown position there. Did we not? Was it not brown the last time? Or was it green? No, it was brown. That's got quite an area, isn't it? So yeah, he's going to take it out actually. From that in the water, because he's a circle. Right, I'm not going to take it just now. What I'm going to do is put that there as a reminder. Right, okay. Yeah, probably shouldn't have started this tonight. I did think that was going to be the case, but I wanted to try anyway. And it looks like we failed miserably. But hopefully I'll be back tomorrow with a bit fresher head, and I'm going to look into more of this before my bed, and try and come back and deal with it as it should be dealt with. Okay, right, cheers.